Welcome to the party.
Hi, everyone.
We have a pretty lame episode today.
No, this is the greatest episode of all time.
Oh yeah, you're right. This will be a good episode for us, but we're talking about a lame episode. 3 of them.
Pretty much this whole episode, Caleb and I are just going to argue back and forth, and we will not agree at the end.
We might.
Are you saying that I could sway you?
No, I'm saying that I'm a content slut and I love when people give me more Star Wars. So when push
Good
comes
or
to shove,
bad?
when push comes to shove, I'll watch them.
Okay, good. Good. Stay that way.
Well, so we're talking about Star Wars.
Don't know if you got that from the slut part.
Um, we we are talking about episodes 7, 8, and 9, Disney's Star Wars.
That's a good clarification because that plays a huge part in today's episode.
Do you want to give a very, very, very brief thing? Because we're going to have lots to talk about.
Yes. Okay. Episode 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars is an attempt at the continuation of the Skywalker story. But they don't actually follow a Skywalker. They follow a Jedi named Rey and her story, where she comes in contact with the Skywalkers, like Luke and Leia, and then Leia's and Han's son, Ben, / Kylo Ren, who happens to be a bad guy. And Rey and him have a thing going on. And eventually, in the end, she wins and he dies.
The end.
The end. That's a really bad, synopsis, but essentially it's just a Jedi story. She's the main Jedi. That's it.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. If you're a fan, be prepared to just be disappointed. If you're not a fan, just be prepared to just be like, I don't like Star Wars anyway. Why am I watching this?
No. If you are you'll love it. You'll love it. All right. Don't let this negative Nancy ruin anything.
Okay. So the next thing on our thing is what is the fandom like?
Toxic. They're so freaking toxic. I would say it because, well, am I allowed to answer this? Because I already answered the other one. I feel like I jumped the gun.
No, just keep going. I don't care.
I feel like they're toxic because I feel like at least the people who love Star Wars, they hate the sequels because of the history of Star Wars.
Because it doesn't fit with the rest of Star Wars.
But I will say though, if the other Star Wars didn't exist and only 7, 8, and 9 existed, everyone would lose their freaking minds.
Yeah, they would be really good
series.
if the other ones didn't exist, but the other ones do exist, so now they all of a sudden don't make sense. It's the exact same thing as Cursed Child.
It's like you give a mouse a cookie, right? Where's the line, right? Where's the line? Disney drew the line, all right? That's what it is.
So I just want to point out that you're saying that the fans of the sequels are toxic.
Yes.
No.
No.
Star Wars fans are toxic. The fans of the sequels are non-existent.
Well, they're pretty freaking amazing. I mean, look at them.
They are few and far between.
Yeah, they are. I would say that.
Yeah. So what's the why do people love or hate it? Okay. This is the rest of our podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
Buckle up.
Also, we should say blanket spoilers for all things Star Wars except for Ahsoka. I don't see us pulling any Ahsoka into this conversation.
I don't think so. Also, that's because we're on the 6th episode, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to worry about Ahsoka. But everything else, we are going to pull from it.
Yep.
Maybe, probably. We'll see.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, also, These Funko Pops are for sale. And they're all really cheap because they are from the sequel series.
That is true. That is
And
why I own
and she's
every
out of the
Ray.
box. And these boxes are damaged.
Nice. But buy them.
Yeah.
They're cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sell them to you.
All right. I feel like you should kick this off. Why do people love or hate the sequel series?
Well, I can't think of a single reason why people love the sequel series.
Well, I got that covered.
That's a
Don't worry
lie.
about it.
That's a lie. Okay. I'm going to take you guys on a journey real quick. So when episode 7 came out, I loved it. Okay. There were a lot of things about it that I was like, well, I don't really like that they did that, but I guess it's fine. Whatever. And we'll talk about that. But then episode 8 came out and they just decided to say everything that happened up to this point is stupid and we're just going to throw it in the trash. And nobody liked episode 8. And then Disney freaked out and came out with episode 9, which was just entirely fan service. And it just was like, okay, so you just doubled down on like nothing cool. So that's ultimately why I don't like it, is because Disney was on a good arc and then they just fell off a cliff. It was dumb.
Yeah.
They didn't stick to their guns either. Okay, where should I start? Should I start with not sticking to their guns or what I didn't like about episode 7 specifically?
Let's start with episode 7.
Okay. Episode 7, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I love how they pulled characters from the original trilogy in, especially like since they've gotten older and everything. But here's the thing. There's too many similarities to the original trilogy. I think Disney saw the crap that the prequels got and they're like, okay, we're not going to do anything like the prequels. We're going to make it more like the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Which there are some things about that aspect that's great. Like BB-8 is an actual droid. He's not CGI. They used a lot of puppets. You know, there's not a ton of CGI in it. But then there's other things that I'm just like, okay, like that's kind of lame. Like there's a force sensitive kid living on a sand planet.
Yeah.
That's dumb. They made an even bigger Death Star. That's dumb. They
Yeah.
brought back the Empire that they had just. It took Palpatine literally, like, it's not Palpatine specifically. It took the Sith hundreds of years to get in a position of power, which was the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of years. Then the Republic comes back, and like what, within the span of 30, 40 years, the Empire's like all of a sudden back. Stupid.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stupid things that they like creatively they could have gone in a different direction. And they decided to just make it. I get that George Lucas said that it's like poetry, it rhymes, but like it don't make it the exact same.
Yeah, let's just copycat.
Yeah. So that and it's not even just that. It's like in order to destroy the massive Death Star, there's like one weakness, and like Poe Dameron, like he gets in there, like he has to get inside that weakness to kill it. That's a little bit like the prequels, or like episode 6, sorry, how they had to like get in the new Death Star to blow that one up.
Mm-hmm.
And like how Rey saw Han, like she like met Han. Han was like her little hermit like teacher that she looked up to, and then she saw him get killed by the bad guy. That's exactly like what happened with Luke and Obi-Wan. Like there's just too many similarities, like right down to the fact that this information that is massively important to the good guys is hidden in a droid and we have to go find the droid on the sand planet.
Yep.
All of that happens. We already saw that movie. We don't need to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree on that part. I think when episode 7 got like when it premiered, I think the fans saw it as like, I mean, they weren't mad about it yet, but I think that they were like, okay, this is a huge callback to the original series, which I think the fans at the beginning didn't really know how to like take it. Like I know that they were all excited about it. Everyone really likes seven. I would
Hmm.
say out of seven, eight, nine, seven is the most well received by
Yeah,
the
for sure.
fans. Yeah.
Well, and it's because like I'm talking about all this stuff. It all is fan service, but it wasn't like it was different enough, except for the Star Killer planet. That one I feel like was like really lame. They could have come up with something better than that. But like
Mm,
um everything else, the fan service was like done good enough that it's like, hey, that's kind of like this. That's kind of fun,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why people liked seven. And because it set it up with like there was enough mystery, like who's this Snoke guy, you know? And like who are Rey's parents? Like will Kylo Ren come back? And not just will Kylo Ren come back, but like what are his fighters like? Because like we know about the Knights of Ren, but like we haven't seen them do anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that is now like going to the opposite side, which I think you'll agree with me on this because I think episode seven is the one that we get along with the most. Um, I do think the characters that they introduced were phenomenal. Like even the villains and like the heroes alike, everyone was on board. Everyone saw Rey and they were like, okay, super similar to Luke, but we like her. And like she has enough mystery about her that we want to know more about her. And then like Poe Dameron, he was okay. People were like, whatever, we get it. You need somebody without the force. Everyone loved Finn. Finn was like the best thing of it, you know? And like, oh, Kylo Ren. How many people have a Kylo Ren tattoo now? You know? Like,
Yeah, they did pretty good with Kylo Ren. A lot of people called him whiny, but like I actually watched it before we did this.
oh, you
Like
did.
like I watched it last week, just episode seven. I didn't watch eight or nine. But like he's not like actually that whiny. It's like very similar to Anakin in episode three.
More like passionate, but can be taken as whiny.
Yeah. But like I'm saying like I feel like we know Adam Driver is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a director decision. Like I think they wanted him to appear a little bit as Anakin.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, the long hair, the way his robes are, it's just a
Wearing a
totally
mask for absolutely no reason.
him literally talking to Vader's mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it does make sense. And I think that everyone loved the characters. Everyone was on board with the characters, and then it got derailed.
Hmm.
Do you have anything more about seven, or should we go on to eight?
No, I don't have anything. I mean, just like briefly, I do think it is a little interesting that they decided that Kylo Ren should be named Ben, because Ben Kenobi definitely meant more to Luke than to Leia. And in like the Legends books that were written, Luke has a son named Ben, and Leia's son's name is Jason. Jacen. Jason.
Jason?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which I guess we actually are going to talk about Ahsoka, but this is also in Rebels, so it's not really a spoiler. Hera Syndulla, the green Twi'lek or however you say it. Her son is Jason. So they brought that name from Legends and gave it to her son.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's a cool, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Dave Filoni's pretty good about that. Like as far as I know, he doesn't actually even like the books, but he understands the fans. So he brings in like these little nuggets.
Yeah. Well, I know that we like sort of like talked about like how the Disney snafu happened, but do you want to explain again what happened?
Yeah, so with episode 7, Bob Iger, the like CEO of Disney, uh his first go at it because Bob Chapek just got fired at Bob Iger's back. Um that's a whole thing that we could talk about sometime. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Bob Iger They paid like 4 billion with a B billion for Star Wars.
Yes.
Like my guy George walked away with 4 Bs.
Yeah. Imagine that guy walking in the Gap with his jeans that go up to his chin. You would not know that he has that much money.
Yeah, but like what I'm getting at is Disney could not. This is one of the projects that they probably considered like cannot fail. Like we cannot fail with this project.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob Iger had a pretty good hand in like the script and like what was going on with episode 7. And then they just blew it out of the water. It became the highest grossing movie, I think, at the time.
Yes, there's
Maybe
a
it didn't beat
graphic.
Avatar.
No, it
Maybe
did.
it did.
There's a graphic. It's sort of cool. Whenever anybody breaks the record, they like tweet it out, and then but the way that they do it, it's the animators or like the designers of it will make like a hey, congratulations thing. So like when I I don't know who took it from Avatar first. I think it was Marvel.
I think it was Star Wars.
It was Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Avatar took it from, or when Star Wars took it from Avatar, which is this one, like episode 7, right? Then Marvel immediately took it from Star Wars with Avengers Infinity War. So Star Wars Infinity War, they had somebody passing a lightsaber over to like Iron Man's hand. And it says
Oh, cool.
congratulations. Yeah. And then um I don't know if it's been passed yet, Marvel.
Um, I don't know.
I'd have to double check on that, but I do know that it is like a an honor, I guess. Like a they make it a big deal.
Cool. But what I'm getting at with it becoming like the highest grossing thing, Bob Iger kind of took a step back on episode 8 because it's a little bit like, okay, the fans are reeled in, hook, line, and sinker. Everyone's going to come see 8. And everyone did. But, and this is another thing that bugs me about the sequels. They had like they didn't have like a cohesive story all the way through. They had like J.J. Abrams wrote 7, Ryan, whatever his name is, Johnson, wrote number 8. Then there was this guy, Colin something or other, wrote 9.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 3 different people write 3 different stories, and they were basically just mashing them together as a trilogy. And Ryan Johnson with Kathleen Kennedy, they decided to like, so like she's talked about in interviews how like she views the medium of movies as like a way to like push ideals and stuff. And like, I mean, you can see that in 8 where like when they're on like that gambling planet, there's like slaves and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like a very blatant and obvious one. Other people like to think that there's other themes in it, but like I'm too like I don't think like that.
Or like how they released those animals when they were
Yeah,
escaping. Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't typically think like that. I just go in to be entertained. Um, but anyway, so they decided to take this Star Wars and like make a movie that was inherently not Star Wars. And like the thing is, if I take a step back and like think about like what my roommate Harry and I would talk about from like an artistic movie maker standpoint, I think they made some really bold decisions that are like kind of cool and like kind of like what's the word? Um Surprising, I guess. I don't know. Like you wouldn't see it coming. Like I see why they did it from an artistic standpoint. But
Yeah.
from a money making and like massive fandom standpoint, you shouldn't have done it. So
Nope.
everything, every question that we had from episode 7, Ryan Johnson decided to be like, I know you have a question about this. I'm going to answer it by saying it's either irrelevant or I'm going to make it irrelevant. Meaning, who's Ray's parents? We're just going to say they're nobodies.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Who's this Snoke guy? We're going to kill him. It doesn't matter. Like, Also, we're gonna have a chase scene in space. Come on, we're in space. Those blasters. Here's the thing about space: it's frictionless. Okay, you shoot a laser beam, it's literally gonna go on forever until it hits that ship. You just gotta aim right. It's not gonna blow up a little bit behind it. Like, come on. And like if they can take this little pod or whatever over to like freaking Gamble Planet, where's how like I know they tried escaping on other pods, but like how I should have watched it. How did they get out of there? Were they just lucky?
Think so.
How did they get back?
Just lucky. They have connections.
Stupid.
Yeah, here's the thing, right?
Captain Phasma, who is she? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think all of those characters that they had, they made them irrelevant. Like, I agree 100%. It's an artistic thing, and I actually didn't mind 8. I thought it was fine, other than like the weird like gambling scene. Especially they brought in like that smuggler who helped him get off the planet. The guy with like the lisp, like the thing. Um, I really liked him as a character. The way that he deceived them, and he was like, "It's all the same. I make money whether it's the good guys or bad guys or whatever you see as the good or bad guys." I was hoping that they'd bring him back, and then they never did.
Well, same thing, same kind of thing happened with Rose, which that was also kind of stupid in my opinion too. Like Finn was like straight sacrificing himself, and then Rose decides to sacrifice herself so Finn doesn't sacrifice himself. Like, doesn't make sense. I don't mind Rose as a character. I think she's fine.
You know what? But it goes back to like if they stuck with their guns. I don't mind that. Okay, I do like Finn and Rey as a couple. I thought that was super sweet. I thought it was two nothings to become something, right? Like a negative and a negative make a positive. And they both had their own like separate stories to make that. But anyway, if they were gonna make a Finn and Rose romance, they should have. Like, just make it. And I know that the actress says that she was getting like death threats over this like romantic story because everyone was like, "No, Finn is for Rey," and it's like, all right, back up. They're real people, you know. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah.
But like,
It's kind of like the actress who plays Pam Beasley. Like
yes,
in public, like people like actually like get mad at her for like having her own husband instead of John Krasinski.
yeah, and it's like, okay, he literally didn't choose me, and I didn't choose him.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me the way that people respond to this, and like I think that's why I enjoy it, is because I'm able to take that step back and be like, okay, obviously I want a different story, but like overall it's like a good, like there's parts in 8 that I genuinely enjoyed, like when Luke was a projection of himself. That was such a cool scene. When, I mean, how many times do you hear that sound on TikTok with like the more, you know?
Yeah.
Like that scene was super good. And I don't know, there's just a lot of like little things within 8. I really like the fight scene in the throne room. Now, I was talking to Porter earlier about it, and he was like, "I hate it." And I was like,
Did he bring
"Why
up
then?"
episode 3?
Well, no, he goes, "Well, you'll have to tell me what that is." But he goes, "There's literally 5 guys waiting there to attack."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get that, but at the same time, like somebody had to freeze frame that. You know, like that's not like something that you just catch just watching it. Like somebody went frame by frame and was like, "Oh,
No.
5 guys."
No, you don't have to frame by frame. Okay, maybe to count 5 guys, but like just go watch it. You'll see them fighting and you'll just like see red guys just like in the back, kind of like a choose your character.
But I think that sort of goes along with like something that you and I had talked about earlier, is like I wish there was cooler Star Wars fights.
Yeah.
Like it seems so robotic. Like you can see them basically counting out the steps in their heads, and you're like, why isn't anyone using the force to freaking just like trip up one of these guys?
Yeah.
But instead you're like swinging a sword around. You have the Force. Like, just freaking use it. So there's like parts
Well,
in it that
okay,
I
but
really like.
that's the episode 3 thing. So like these Praetorian guards are what they are. So they're
Hmm.
like the best of the guards that can like go hand to hand against a Jedi and like maybe even kill a Jedi. Like I mean, they guarded the Chancellor of the Galaxy, who also is a Sith Lord who can protect himself. So in episode 3, when Yoda goes to fight Palpatine, there's 2 Praetorian guards. Yoda walks in and just goes like this, and they both fly against the wall and they're knocked out or dead. I don't know. But like that's the thing, like people have cut together like the TikTok sound that's like or whatever
Oh yeah.
to like show people like doing stuff. And then it usually is like the
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had like the first one where it's like going really fast. And that's when like Rey and Kylo are fighting the Praetorians. And then they didn't even do the second part. They just had Yoda walk in and just go.
Well, even in the Mandalorian, like I think, and I would say Marvel, I think Disney has a huge problem with this, is figuring out where that power is and like trying to
Mhm.
like keep it consistent. And if they
Yeah,
want
they need to
growth,
fix that power scale.
yes, thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. As far as like the story goes, I don't mind 8 because it keeps you on the hook. You're like, okay, none of my questions are answered, but like, okay, you
But where
did.
the F are they going to go from this?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, it did get people thinking, like, okay, I'm in it. You kept me on the hook longer. Where is it going? So, like, I don't mind 8, but I would say I do like 9.
I don't. So the thing with 9, Bob Iger got back involved and like too involved this time, where it was like, okay, we need to double down. What is everything that everyone loves about Star Wars? And they found everything and they put all of it in there. Like everything about like, oh, Chewie never got his medal. Let's give him a freaking medal out of nowhere for no reason. Let's bring in Lando, which that one's actually kind of cool. Let's like do all this other random stuff. Okay, and then this is the one that just really ticks me off. You're gonna think I'm gonna say Palpatine coming back. I do think that's really stupid, but it's not what I'm most annoyed about. It's the Star Destroyers where each of them has a Death Star gun.
Yeah.
Come up with something else. Ooh, I could kill a planet. Yeah, it's been done. I'm done seeing that. Come up with something else. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, I agree. And see, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of our like agreement is good, except you come out to the equation of equals dumb, and mine equals pretty good.
Wait, so you agree that it's stupid that every Star Destroyer has a Death
Yeah.
Star gun on it, but that means that it's a good movie?
Here's the thing. I think that Disney struggles finding good villains. I think that Disney struggles finding good conflict. And the reason is because Disney's a kids company. They don't have that, and they're not willing to step over that line of like what makes a bad guy bad. And here's the thing that makes a bad guy bad. They're bad. So they're going to do bad things. But Disney doesn't want to talk about the bad stuff. They want to make a hero because heroes sell. Right? So like Thanos is willing to cut to like snap and half the universe is dead. He doesn't actually have to show that, right? But like any other conflict to make a bad guy bad involves like death or any form of like violence, right? And Disney doesn't necessarily want to get into that. They stand for something else. So like Disney struggles with violence and villains. That's why they're so close in the wordage. And like
Yeah, I don't care.
here's my thing, right? Like In number 9, I do agree. They threw in a bunch of stuff. But overall, the Rey and Kylo Ren love story, it does it for me. I freaking love it. I think that they're
It,
awesome.
I guess they kind of did have that weird little force connection.
Although I will tell you this. Porter said something and I sort of agree with it. He said that Rey should have just died and that Ben Solo should have just become good and he should have been the one ruling after that.
Oh, I 100% would love, love, love episode 9 if Rey actually died and Ben Solo beat Palpatine.
Yeah, I would also like that.
And then he creates a Jedi school.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Yeah. I don't know. I have lots of thoughts, but like of like theories, but I'm kind of like saving it for theory time.
Okay, but number 9, I did like that you got to see a glimpse of Sith Rey because
Yeah.
I also really like that Rey didn't end up with a blue or green or even red lightsaber because I feel like she's only ever really presented with a Jedi master. Like she didn't have the option of going either way. So the fact that she got a yellow one, I sort of like.
Okay, but here's the thing. Anakin's lightsaber was destroyed in episode 8 and she just freaking fixes it and uses it for episode 9. That was Disney's opportunity to give her a new lightsaber from the beginning of the episode and they should have done it.
Oh yeah.
Also, she fought with a staff in episode 7. That was her weapon of choice before she even knew she was force sensitive. She should have had a double bladed lightsaber. Could have been yellow. I wouldn't care. I actually think the yellow lightsaber is cool. I would have a yellow lightsaber. I've taken quizzes.
I'd have a white one.
Well, I'd also, I either get yellow or black, but I know that there's only one black one, and I don't want to be so prideful as to say that I would be the Mandalore.
The Mandalore.
Well, yeah, I could show you how to spell it later. It's different than Mandalore.
Well, honestly, yeah, I think that would have been so cool. Like, I feel like 9 was rushed, right? I feel like it was, we need to finish this up and move on to whatever we have next.
Well, it wasn't just rushed. Remember how I was talking about how 3 people had 3 different stories?
Mm-hmm.
They entirely scrapped the episode 9 story. And so that was Colin something or other. I don't know his last name. And they brought J.J. Abrams back in and basically said, like, shove so much fan service down their throat that we make money. So like that's really what I don't like. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, how like in episode 7, it's like, oh, it's kind of cool. That's a little bit like this. But in episode 9, it's just so blatant. It's a little bit like when you're like watching shows and like there's like a really old Batman movie where they're like in Gotham where it's like dark and black and everything. Like everything is just like there's no lights anywhere. And Batman throws a villain into a bright red Coca-Cola truck.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit like that where it's just so blatant. And like it's unnecessary. Like come up with something that's actually creative. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Overall, though, I still love it. I mean, I know that it's cheesy, I know that it's hokey, and I know that a dagger would never ever show the exact wreckage of a ship.
I was just gonna bring that up. It's okay. It would be cool if there was a dagger made after the fact,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's 1,000-year-old dagger. That's the thing.
Like, why does it need to be 1,000 years old? Like, it's like there's no need. But that's the thing. Like, I know it's hokey. I know that it's cheesy. I know that it's sort of stupid. But looking at it, I really like Rey. I like that they finally focused on a female Jedi. I like that she's not actually a Jedi master, how she's just very force sensitive. And then like I get at the end she's like Rey Skywalker. I know that that's sort of dumb.
Yeah, and that ruins so much.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of theories. We could talk about like the theories of it later. But overall, yeah, it's not that bad. Like, I think the only reason that people see it as bad is because they have the original and the prequel series to judge it against. And when you're going against two giants, like Disney's got to fail sometime, and they
But
failed.
but also when you spend $4 billion, you shouldn't.
Well, yeah, I agree you shouldn't, but they haven't hired us. We've talked about this all the time.
Hire us. Okay. So cheese. That's been a throwback.
Whoa.
Fan service. Okay. Um, do you have more to say about why people should love it?
Yes. Okay. I do have one thing. I feel like people should love it because Carrie Fisher's in it. This is her last thing that she was in before she passed away.
Yeah, but that doesn't automatically make it like an amazing thing. Like, yeah,
Be
when you like are missing Carrie Fisher, go ahead and watch it. But like you would watch original trilogy if you're missing her.
Listen, I didn't say it's the only reason people should like it. I just added it on to the list.
Okay. Yeah, there are plenty of reasons to love it, but and okay, yeah, this is what it comes down to for me. I can find plenty of things that are really cool about it. Like uh TR-8R, the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Hmm.
Granted, he only has like 5 seconds of screen time and then he dies, but he's awesome. But
Yeah.
there's so many more things that just bug me.
Like what? Go ahead. Get it off your chest.
I have been.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, so you and I have a very similar opinion, but for some reason, all of these like things that we brought up equals I don't like the series for you.
Okay, it's like a meter. Like it starts right in the middle, and every time something good happens, it ticks towards this is a good movie. And every time something stupid happens, it ticks towards this is a bad movie. And I feel like it's ticked to right about here.
Okay, if we're going off of that scale, then the ticks for me are probably different, measured different, right? I really like Kylo and Rey. I like their love story. And like here's the thing. Anakin and Padme had a love story. We didn't really get to see it until Clone Wars came out, right? Like it's hinted at in the movies. You know that they love each other, but that one scene where he like picks up her like peach or whatever, cuts it for her, and then like gives it back to the forest, like that was the main flirting. And I'm sorry, but if Preston came over and started cutting my food for me, I'd be like, "What the are you doing? Get away!"
If he did it with magic, you would love it.
I would, yeah, I'd be like, "Witchcraft." I don't know. I feel like the flirting between Anakin and Padme was very lacking. And
Hmm.
the connection that Rey and Kylo Ren had was just freaking amazing. They even had a good love story with Finn and Rose, right? Like
I mean, they started off with a better love story of Rey and Finn.
100%. But I think it did give the writers a way to focus more on Rey and Kylo Ren rather than Rey and Finn.
But that's the thing about having three writers. Like J.J. Abrams totally wrote it where Finn and Rey were having a thing, and then Ryan Johnson. That's another thing that Ryan Johnson was like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He introduces Rose, sends Finn on some wild goose chase, and Rey's hanging out with who we're told is Luke Skywalker, but he acts nothing like Luke Skywalker.
Did you know though
That
that
Mark
the
Hamill has made comments about how that's not Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I know.
yeah, and did you know that even Daisy Ridley, the lady who plays Rey, she's even gone on there and she was like, it made no sense, but I had a job.
Same with Finn. Finn has been in so many interviews where he just like trashes on the sequels.
Yeah, I think the only person who hasn't is Adam Driver, and that's because consistently his character's been pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, people like Kylo Ren. Like there, I feel like he was underutilized, but I mean, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
You
Cool
know,
lightsaber. He's fine.
Yeah, he's cool. We
That
cool.
is, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I still like it enough that I will rewatch it. I do like the characters. I like the character building, even though it's jumbled. They still build it.
Here's my thing. I am physically capable of watching just the original trilogy or just the prequel trilogy. Typically, I pick the prequel trilogy. So like I can watch just the prequel trilogy, but the only way I watch the sequel trilogy is when I start with the prequel trilogy and I go. And then I feel obligated.
Yeah. Okay. I would say I feel like I am to the sequel series as I would say somebody like a Jets fan, New York Jets. They wanted to be like winners their whole life, and they never really got there. Like, I feel obligated to like it because I like Rey. I like her as a character.
I think they could have written her so much better.
1,000 times I agree they could have, but like,
But they didn't, and that's what we got. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Although I guess this goes to the next thing, which is like the babies part, though,
Well,
or
we
is it
still haven't talked
theories?
about theories.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I'm pretty excited about that next movie that they're gonna film.
Okay, yeah, I guess we can mention that I mean, we've mentioned it in episodes where we're not even talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
They are going to create another um, movie where she will be the lead, and she's basically created a Jedi school.
Yes.
So we can talk about theories of what we think will happen there. But before we do that, I don't want to leave these sequels yet.
Okay.
Can I talk about what the sequels should have been?
Yes, please, because it was amazing.
Okay, you're saying it was amazing. There's like three different versions.
Okay, how about you tell them and I'll tell you which one I remember.
Um, okay, the most brief one is that Rey was supposed to be a Kenobi. Like that's pretty much
Oh yeah, I have heard that one.
all the thing with that. Okay, but like here's the thing with that. John Boyega totally has an accent too. And they made him change his accent to an American accent. But they told Daisy Ridley to keep hers.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
It's either because Daisy Ridley is incapable of changing her accent
No, she's changed
or
it.
because her accent very closely resembles Obi-Wan Kenobi's and she's supposed to be a Kenobi.
See, that would have made sense.
That would have made sense. But she's a nobody. Oh wait, no, she's a Palpatine. Oh wait, no, she's a Skywalker. Freaking stupid. Okay, the other one is it's more theories of what people thought the sequels were going to be before episode 7 based on the books. So
Mm.
like in the books, Han and Leia's son Jason, he gets these visions that basically say that the Jedi Order will be destroyed unless he turns to the dark side. And um, so I think those are the visions he's getting. I might be getting this wrong because Ben Skywalker might have also been getting these visions. I think Ben Skywalker was getting visions that he had to kill his uncle Han, and Jason was getting visions that he had to like turn to the dark side, basically.
Hmm.
So and like there's a whole like universe that's like not even explored with that. But like that was basically what that storyline was. And then George Lucas had a storyline that he had banked for quite a long time that actually sounds really, really cool. So um, it starts off with like Luke and Leia basically rebuilding the Republic. Okay. Leia becomes Chancellor, and Luke is building his school. Meanwhile, there's a new Darth in town, and her name is Darth Talon. Okay. be careful looking her up because she is a skimpy clad woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a Twi'lek. She's a red Twi'lek, looks very similar to Darth Maul. And she wields two lightsabers like Ahsoka. Okay.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So she is like the new big bad, and they're like having to deal with her. And then we find out that her master is Darth Maul, and he is the leader of Crimson Dawn, which is the crime syndicate of the galaxy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, this is what I've heard.
Yeah, so this becomes like it's way cooler because you're not fighting a planet that's a new Death Star. You're not fighting Palpatine again. It's a whole new story, and it dives into Luke and Leia. And Luke and Leia get into a bunch of fights with these dudes. Like that's way cool. And Sebastian Stan would have been great for it.
Oh, yeah, he would have.
Yeah, he'd be a great Luke.
I
Um, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Well, I was moving on with the story.
No, that's good. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So they basically have to like fight this crime syndicate, and like I think the Senate like almost falls during this and stuff. It's just like really good. It's like a really good story. But like obviously people would have been mad that like they changed the characters and stuff. I mean, people were mad that they changed Han in the Han Solo movie, but it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie.
Yeah. Which Darth Maul shows up as the head of Crimson Dawn in that.
Ugh. See,
Yeah. So it's interesting that like George Lucas had these ideas before he ever sold it to Disney, and Disney is implementing them in their own way. But I mean, they're not doing it. I mean, in Rebels, Darth Maul dies. So Darth Maul dies before the sequels even happen.
yeah,
He dies before the original trilogy even happens. Obi-Wan kills him again.
yeah. Again.
Yeah. But there is also another one. But did you have any comments on this real quick? I feel like I keep cutting you off.
Well, my only thing is that I do like the idea of them fighting crime because I feel like that's mostly what Anakin felt like he was fighting was politics. So, like, if they were able to fight crime, that would make a lot more sense because that's what Jedis are. They're peacekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Luke is building a school, he would be building peacekeepers.
Yeah. Well, and realistically, when a government is overthrown, is your threat those who are loyal to the past government or more people who fill the void with crime?
Oh,
Like
100% the crime.
yeah, like when a new government is formed, there's always going to be like a group of people that are going to take advantage because like the new government isn't quite set in place to like make things happen, like to make sure that laws are followed and stuff. So like crime is going to be rampant for a little bit.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but during like the World Wars, I'm pretty sure in New York, they relied a lot on like mafias to keep criminals in line.
I don't know. That's real world stuff.
I'm just saying it supports your theories.
Yeah, it does. I mean, granted, you do want to find the big people like uh the person they're looking for in Ahsoka. It's talked
Grand
about in
Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, no, I know his name. I just said that we weren't going to talk about Ahsoka, and I'm trying to justify it by saying that they talked about it in Mandalorian
Yeah,
season
they
2.
did.
So,
They did.
so like Grand Admiral Thrawn, you want to find Grand Admiral, you want to find Thrawn, and like, you want to wipe out the high level people, but crime is what's going to take the place. So it makes sense. That's a good story. George Lucas knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
You don't create a property that sells for 4 Bs without
Without knowing
having
what
some
you're
good
doing.
ideas.
Yeah.
But then another thing for the sequels, and this goes back to Disney doubling down. Okay. The script that was written by this Colin dude is pretty nuts. So basically, in the time between episodes 8 and 9, the First Order has won. They've taken over the galaxy. There's only like a few planets that aren't occupied. Rey is in hiding as like a Tusken Raider at the beginning of the movie, and she has a double-bladed blue lightsaber. I don't super care about the color. Like, I think it'd be cool if it was yellow. I think it'd be cool if it was blue. But I appreciate that it's double-bladed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she needs. Um, so she's doing that. Leia is still, she still has like some sort of like rebellion people. So like there's like it feels very reminiscent of the original trilogy again, where it's like the Empire has taken over. We have a small force of rebels. Hux has become the Chancellor. But Kylo Ren is the Supreme Leader or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna try to blaze through this, but like there's a lot of details. So Kylo Ren finds a holocron like he
Okay.
does in episode 9, and it's a message from Palpatine talking about taking Vader or Luke, I don't remember, to a different planet to meet his master to teach him more about the dark side. And then this holocron blows up and it totally messes up Kylo Ren's face. Like he was wearing his mask at the time and it like fuses with his face and like they like have to like fix his mask so it like is like a breathing apparatus. He like basically becomes Darth Vader.
Okay.
Um and also it's red lightning and I think that's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. So then he goes to this planet where there's this like 7,000-year-old Sith alien that has like 12 eyes. It's creepy looking. You can like his name's like Tor Valum, I think.
Oh, I have seen a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a creepy dude. So he like learns about like the dark side and stuff. And then like with Rey, she's like being trained by Luke. Oh, also during all this, Luke is literally haunting Kylo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like his force ghost is haunting him, which totally goes along with what Luke says when he's a ghost in episode 8 about like if you strike me down in anger, I'll become more powerful than you'll, or he doesn't know that's someone else. But he says if you strike me down in anger, I will never truly leave you, is what he says, something like that. So yeah, so he's like haunting him. Meanwhile, Force Luke is also teaching Rey the Force, and she winds up on the same planet as Kylo Ren. While all of this is happening, Finn. Oh, also Rose has a massive role in this movie.
Okay. Yeah. See, that would make sense.
Yeah, because they like introduced her number 8 and they gave her a big enough role. Anyway, her and Finn and I think R2D2 and C3PO, maybe BB8, they go to Coruscant to the Jedi Temple, down to like the depths of it where there's this really old beacon that's like pre-imperial, where they like send out a message saying like literally if there's anybody that can help us find the First Order, this is when we're going to do it, kind of thing. um and so then we do get a scene kind of the same as episode 9 where it's just everyone in the galaxy shows up to fight, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that happens and it's led by Lando. Also Chewie didn't have a ship at the time, so he hops in an X-wing and he like does some serious damage with the X-wing, which that's kind of cool to like give Chewie his moment. And then Kylo and Rey fight. And oh, somewhere in this Han Solo is supposed to pop up too as like a memory. But anyway, during their fight, he blinds Rey, so she becomes blind. And then like I think he literally fights Luke's Force Ghost while she's like recovering from that. Or
Oh,
like
wow.
Luke is like doing something. Yeah. So then she, while she's blind, fights him. Um, and I think she loses again. um, it's kind of nuts. Like this storyline has the bad guys win quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't remember how she winds up. Oh, she winds up beating him because Leia appears to him in a vision and it like softens his heart a little bit. Kind of like what happens with like Han on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and also how he turns good, and like that's how she like gives up her life. So like all of that has to do with that too. So then he like becomes good a little bit, or like it like distracts him enough for Rey to kill him because he's learned so much from that Tor Valum guy. He's like even told General Hux like, I don't care about titles, I have more power than the entire First Order.
Wow.
Yeah, so she beats him. um Hux has a decorative lightsaber that he performs the samurai um seppuku or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So he offs himself. And then the good guys win, but nobody knows where Rey is. Poe, Finn, Rose, and Chewie all get medals after the battle. That's how Chewie should have got his medal. That's you don't just do it on the side.
No, it should be like the ending, just like the first one.
Yeah. And then like you cut to Rey, she's on some like different planet and she's like teaching kids the Force. Isn't that a way good movie?
That is. I
And that
actually,
those are just like the like bare details. Like that's not even all of it.
well, I do know, to give them credit, they were gonna have Carrie Fisher be the one to appear to Kylo Ren, but she had passed away. So they weren't gonna um they like just brought back Indiana Jones. I forgot his name now. Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Yeah, I mean there would have definitely had to be some reworks to that original. Like they wrote it thinking that Carrie Fisher would still be alive, but
Yeah. Well, also I do know that like that vision that Rey has where she's like a Sith, Kylo Ren was supposed to have the same vision with her and to like see their future as if they were both Sith together.
oh, that's cool. Oh, that's actually another thing. It wasn't no okay. When he's like learning from this Tor Valum guy in the script, he literally fights like a simulation of Darth Vader.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they would have brought Darth Vader back too.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And to top it all off, guess what it was called?
What?
Duel of the Fates.
Oh, John Williams throwback.
And it's way cooler than Rise of Skywalker.
Huh, that is cool. I Here's the thing, right? Like I feel like Disney has the tools to make something cool, and I'm hoping they fix it. I hope they get all these buttons and they button it up really nice in this next film. But whatever Jedi film that they do next, which I think people are open to, it's gotta follow somebody new. They can hint at whatever has been happening thus far, but just show somebody new.
Okay, I know I said that we weren't going to talk about Ahsoka, but I really want to right now.
All right. Fair warning, we're talking about Ahsoka.
Up through episode 6.
Yeah, because we haven't
Because
copyrighted the other two yet. Just kidding.
okay, so there's 3 movies in the works right now. The Rey one,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dave Filoni is directing one where it's supposed to wrap up the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Ahsoka universe. Not necessarily wrap it up, but it deals with all 3 of those: Mando, Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. Okay,
Okay.
and then there's a 3rd movie which is supposed to deal with the very first Jedi ever, ever. Okay. So I think
Okay.
that's what you're talking about, where it's like we've got to see a Jedi that like no one knows about and like just make it cool. So that
Yeah.
could be that. But in episode 6 of Ahsoka, I feel like we've given you guys enough time to turn away if you don't want any spoilers about Ahsoka. In episode 6, Balin's skull. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay. Whew. I was just worried that you only seen episode 5 because I told you to watch that one because that one's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Balin Skull has basically said that he is trying to go to the beginning of the cycle of like good taking over, bad taking over, good take, not good and bad, but light and dark. He's a very balanced middle Force user. and he's trying to go back to the beginning to just end the cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think all three of these movies are actually going to be intertwined based on that,
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
because they're going to show the first Jedi, and I mean that's the beginning. That's the cycle that he's trying to break. So they're going to show that could play somehow into the Dave Filoni movie. And obviously Rey has all these ancient texts. She's probably going to learn about that very first Jedi herself. I feel like these three might be their own little trilogy.
Okay, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't want to get into Ahsoka too much, but I do like their characters a lot. Well, except Sabine.
Yeah.
She can suck it, all right? I don't like her.
Hashtag worst Mandalorian on the planet.
Also, I just don't like her face. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because she's trying to be too angsty, but I'm like, get it together, woman. Holy frick. Okay, but the Padawan, I don't know how to say her name, but
Shin Hati.
she is sick. I like her a lot.
Yes, we will be doing an Ahsoka episode probably in like 2 episodes. So
Yes, because we are gonna finish it and then we're gonna immediately record an episode. So
yeah, maybe we're going too hard on Star Wars right now.
whatever. New season, new same old thing.
Yeah, it will be a new season. This is hey, welcome to the last episode of our book 2.
We hit none of our goals, but we'll talk about that next
We'll
time.
talk about that next time. No, we hit one goal. We hit one goal. I have it written down on a paper.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Party. Okay. Back to the sequel series. Since we're sort of on theories now because we're talking about like what's gonna come.
Yeah, we've moved to theories.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% think that Rey is gonna like continually like build up and like move throughout that. I don't know if this counts as a theory, but it would have been way cooler for Kylo Ren to be the leader because like he would carry on that Skywalker line. And Rey is not a Skywalker no matter what they try to say.
Mm-hmm. Skywalker is not a title, it's a literal name.
Literal surname. It's as if you meet somebody, you date them, kiss them once, and then they're like calling themselves by your last name. Like, what?
Right? Creepy and weird.
Yeah, weird, right?
Actually, yeah, you bring up a good point though. The Skywalkers are all gone now, huh?
Yeah.
Oh geez. Unless Disney decides to bring Mara Jade into canon and say her and Luke had a kid.
That would be sick.
Because they did in the Legends.
That would be sick.
Bring in Mara Jade.
Well, I mean, technically, Ben's life force is now in Rey. You know, because that's like the whole thing that he did, you know?
Yeah, it just sounded funny.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
It wasn't a gutter, that was a science book.
So technically in that regard, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I disagree. Yeah, so the sequels suck.
Are good.
Okay. How do people get interested in the sequel series?
Honestly, if you haven't seen any Star Wars, you should start there. It's great.
No, you definitely shouldn't start there. You either start at episode 4 or episode 1.
No, I would say it's sort of be interesting to see somebody start in the prequel series or the sequel series.
But they would have no idea what's going on.
I feel like it's like user friendly.
Yeah, who cares? If you haven't seen Star Wars at this point, then you don't deserve to have a good viewing experience. So so start with episode 7.
It's on Disney Plus, guys. Come on. You know where to
here's
find
your
it.
watching order. Go 795. Go 8675309. That's the order. Yep. 8675309.
I think that it would be fine. I think it'd be fine to start in the sequel series, then move to either the original series and then the prequel series, because then you're like building up to like the best ones.
Okay, no, but like if you want the best way to watch Star Wars for the first time, it really is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, I agree on that part. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, that's literally how you should do it. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, but
Just
if you're
in the
into
release order.
chaos, watch
8, 6,
7,
7,
8,
5, 3, 0, 9.
9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Listen
Stupid.
to me.
Okay, so you are trying to get people to not join, and I love it. Okay, out of 5, what do you give episode 7?
Episode 7, I would give a solid 4.2.
I was going to give it a 4.2 as well.
Wow. Companionship unity.
Episode 8, what do you give it?
3.4.
3. I just give it a straight 3.
Nice.
It's still better than a 2.5 though.
Still better. Episode 9.
Actually, yeah, I'm going to change that now that I'm thinking about my scale. I should give episode 8 a 2.4 because I actually don't like it.
I like it. 3.4.
2.4.
Okay, episode 9.
Episode 9, I would give a 3.6.
That's what I was going to say. 3.6. Better than number
Nice.
8, but super cheesy.
Yeah. What do you give this sequel trilogy as a whole?
3.8.
3.6.
Nice. So pretty similar. Somewhere in that
Yeah.
range.
Like, I mean, it is still enjoyable. At the end of the day, I love any kind of content that's created to please the masses.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
I mean,
Name any movie.
Jaws.
That's a great movie. Fun fact,
man.
I have never seen Jaws.
Neither have I. And we
Too
call
scary.
ourselves average. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's a good watch. Is it the best watch? Probably not. Go put in Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust. Oh, we should do another episode on that.
Yeah. Soon our podcast will be longer than the actual movie itself. We just watch the movie together.
This one, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. We should do a watch party sometime.
We should do a watch party. That.
I don't know. What was I gonna say though? Oh, I feel like we might get a lot more people to click on this. Guys, we did do an episode on Stardust. It has like 12 views right now. So
yeah, click on it. It's
go watch
probably
it.
somewhere here.
Just go click on our name down on the bottom. Somewhere. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Okay. Like and subscribe, please.
Buy us Funko Pops. Come on, while you're at
it. This episode is literally going to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Still shorter than the movie.
Still shorter than the movie. Okay.
Anyway.
How much of a nerd do you have to be to enjoy the sequel series?
Oh, okay.
Scale of 1 to 5.
3.6.
You think you have to be that much of a nerd to enjoy it?
No, let me rescale. 3.
I would say 3.
I'd say 3 because
like a little bit of a nerd.
Yeah, a little bit of a nerd to understand what's going on, but not too much of a nerd to know all the names of everybody.
Yeah, or the planets.
Yep. Or what types of droids.
Or the droids' names.
Or who the directors are.
Or anything about Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, thanks for watching our podcast tonight or this morning.
Love you.
Love you. Bye. See you next book.
See you next book. Wow.
Nerd.